How are we doing, you guys? Joshua Dollar here. I wanted to go over something with you that I think is life-changing. I think this is really, really awesome, and this is something that I was able to do for a friend of mine. And this is how to get a $35,000 first-class flight for free. Okay, so just a little story here. My mom, she does, she works at a spa, right? And she does massages and waxing and all that stuff. And she has a client who just spent $35,000 on a first-class flight for her and her daughter to Bangkok. They went from SFO, I'm going to stand over here. They went from SFO, which is San Francisco, to BKK, which is Bangkok, Thailand. Okay? And that was nonstop, $35,000 for first class, and this was with Korean Air. Okay? So, not only was the flight $35,000, but she spent 2 million MR points, which if you have our course and everything and you are familiar with the credit game and all the different banks, MR points are for American Express, okay? So she spent 2 million MR points, which is equivalent to $20,000. She put that towards her flight, which brought the flight down from $35,000 to $15,000. Right? So she paid $15,000 for a $35,000 flight. So some people might think, wow, she saved $20,000. That was really good. No, that's terrible. That's terrible. All right? What she didn't know is how valuable these MR points really are. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you. Okay? So, 2 million MR points. Here's what she should have done. You can take those MR points and transfer them, okay? So what a lot of people don't know or realize is how to use points and miles correctly. So you can transfer your MR points to partner airlines. So I did some research, and the site that I used was actually called SkipLagged. This is how I search flight patterns. I like this website. And I found all the airlines that are flying nonstop San Francisco to Bangkok. And I found Thai Airways also flies nonstop San Francisco to Bangkok. So I did some search on Thai Airways, and I found out that they had a flight going out the exact same day. The exact same day, exact same flight, exact same trip, but instead of paying $35,000, you could have transferred your MR points to Canada Air, because Canada Air is partnered with Thai Airways, and MR can transfer directly into Canada Air. So if you transfer your points to Canada Air, you can use those miles on a Thai Airways flight. So how much does a Thai Airways flight cost? I did some research. Thai Airways, first class, SFO to Bangkok, is only 125,000 points each way, okay? So 300,000 miles per person each way. That's a total of only 600,000 miles. And that covers the entire flight. So, to recap, she spent 2 million miles, or 2 million MR points, plus $15,000, when all she had to do was spend 600,000 miles, and the entire trip would have been free for her and her daughter. Okay? So, watch this lesson again. Watch this lesson a couple times if you haven't really. If this didn't make sense to you, just understand, like, this is actually I do stuff like this all the time. Like, I flew San Diego to JFK nonstop on Delta One for $0. Okay, just because I use miles and I transferred correctly and I know how to do these things. Okay, and you can do this with a lot of different things. So you got Amex has MR points, Chase has UR points. Citi has thank you points. All right, all the banks have their own system, and they're all transferable to different people. So if you have every card, you pretty much have access to every airline. All you got to do is get a little creative and figure out where you can send your miles and where you can redeem those miles for cheaper flights. Don't ever pay for a flight with cash, and don't ever use your miles directly to pay for the flight. Always look first to see if you can transfer to a partner to get better redemption ratios. Because that was a $15,000 that she could have saved, plus she ended up spending 1.4 million miles that didn't need to be spent in the first place. Okay, guys? Hopefully you learned a lot in this lesson. Watch it again. If this didn't make sense, keep watching it. Hit me up on Instagram. Money's in my name. I'll answer all your questions, or as much as I can. I get a lot of DMs, so if I get to you, cool. If not, sorry, I'll do my best. But hopefully we'll see you again, and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next lesson. Thanks.